Hey, how's everybody doing? Great to be here. I'm Brian Olson,
I'm Robin Joy.
and we're here to talk to you about, I know something you'd never guess, Keepa. We love talking about Keepa so much that we have put together this particular module to show and share with everyone how we use Keepa to find a lot of great sort of hidden gems and profitable replens for our business.
Right. What we want to encourage you to do in this set of videos is to get creative. Experiment with Keepa. Experiment with Keepa's filters. There are so many things you can do when you're sourcing using Keepa. If you have a question, gee, how would I find such and such type of vases? Then think, how would I find that, and how would I use Keepa to find those items? Sometimes you get a lot more items than you wanted, and these are pretty directed kind of strategies that we're talking about in these videos, but at least you're not looking at all of Amazon, and you can narrow those down and maybe find some gold that nobody else is looking for.
Yeah, one of the things that we learned early on is that if we had to look through millions of listings to try and find profitable ones, we would quit. Yeah, as coaches, which in Cochrane, we were often dealing with coaching clients who were like, where do I even start? Because there are, so many hundreds of millions of products listed on the Amazon catalog.
Which is what we felt like in the beginning.
Absolutely. Like you could be overwhelmed. And so what we do is we carve out little sections of data from Amazon using Keepa, and then we slant that data to be in our favor in terms of the types of items that we're looking for, the types of listings that we're looking for, the price points of those items, sales velocity. And then you can even get much more specific. And our goal here is just to help everyone think more creatively. Right? We're going to cover nine different ways to use Keepa to find predominantly like the types of listings that you'll see that are covered in the title. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, really, there's so much more that you can do with this here. And even within those nine different ways, within each one of those, a different way that you can do it. More than one, maybe two or three or more ways to accomplish the same thing.
Absolutely. We tried to pick ones that are pretty direct in showing you those strategies, but you'll see that there are many, many ways to do any strategy, and you'll find some of your own as you go through there. Keep in mind that this is the same overall strategy that we're using to find replens. In other words, make sure you test anything that you decide that you want to sell. Test it, make sure it's going to work for you.
Yeah, we try to avoid using broad generalizations. Always do this, never do this, guarantees, right?
Right, there are no guarantees.
Right.
We know that.
The one place that we will that we do feel comfortable saying that is when we're talking about testing, right? Always test your items. You don't want to go deep. I can't tell you how many stories that we've heard from both coaching clients and from other people that we know in this business who either are friends before they got started and still went deep instead of wide, or people that started out in this business that we're friends with today that went deep, learned their lessons, right, of going deep and not wide. Always go wide before you go deep, and make sure that the water is nice and comfortable for you before you just go diving in head first.
Absolutely, totally agree with that. So what are we going to see in these videos, Brian?
Well, each video that we're going to cover has a very specific outcome in mind. It's again, like I probably have said, we're trying to stack the deck in our favor as much as we can as we're pulling this data out of Keepa. And 9 different strategies here. I encourage you to mix and match these strategies. We refer to strategy stacking a lot. So love the strategy stacking approach with Keepa. We've got one kind of set of default filters that we apply, and then we can put other filters or other strategies we can stack on top of that. Like, oh, here's my default filters, and then I want to also do this and do that. And some places you can get 3, 4, 5 stacks deep or strategies deep on your stacking. And then you can be so narrowed in, right? So zoomed in that you may only come up with a handful of products that meet all your criteria. That's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing at all. So I would encourage you to watch every single one of these videos, even if it's a strategy that doesn't sound that attractive to you, because there are these strategy stacking tips and other general sourcing tips in each of these videos, not in all, that's in one, but not all of them. So I would encourage you to watch through every video just to pick up those tips, even if you're not going to do that strategy.
Yeah, Rob, I think what you're talking about is we tend to share more than just here's the, here's the box you check in the filter that you set. We tend to dig in a little bit more and find out, okay, if I was looking at this, well, first of all, we want to prove it out.
Right.
Did the results that we thought we were going to get, is that actually what we got? Great.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's try and maybe apply a real world scenario to that. And then we're also sharing our stories of other people that we work with in this business, and showing you how it applies in real world, right? This is not just some made up. Why would I ever try and find this kind of listing? There's like a real world example in every one of these.
Yep, that's true. So
don't be afraid to tweak the settings either. Like what we're giving you here, there's that's a way to do it. It's not the only way to do it. Maybe there's a strategy stacking or a mix and match that you can put together that we haven't done yet. That's totally fine. Again, the idea here is to spark that creativity so that you can do this on your own and come up with new and fun ways to find underserved ASINs for your replants business. So before we get too far in, what would you say is your favorite strategy?
Well, what I have to say, I have to preface that with the strategy that talks about ignore the buy box, which is based on Jim Cochran's podcast, silentjim.com, number 554, where he says, if you're looking for replants, you can find a lot of them if you ignore the buy box. So we've put together a strategy that is strictly for that. But what I love is that you can apply that to any of the strategies that we're talking about. So when you get to that one, remember, go back and put that on all the rest of the strategies and see how much success you have with that. If I had to pick one of the other strategies by itself, I think one of my favorites is the FBM only. A lot of people find a lot of success being the only FBA seller on an item. There are cautions there, and you'll hear that, but that's a good way for new sellers to find items that other people are selling.
Mm-hmm. Good point. We also do try and say, like, not only give a real world example for why we might be looking for these items, but also throw some cautions out there for what challenges you might run up against when you're implementing that strategy, so that you can cut that learning curve as fast as you can. Right.
We won't catch them all, obviously, but we'll try to hit the big ones that we've found. Since you asked me, what's your favorite, Craig?
My favorite probably is what I'm calling the GTIN exempted or GTIN exempted listings.
Oh, GTIN, that's been a big buzzword lately.
Yeah, GTIN, UPC, kind of same thing there. But with all the changes happening with the Amazon catalog lately, because a lot of our replens business is based around bundles, multi-packs, variety packs, I want to be able to find those listings that are still in the catalog that haven't been removed, and this is a strategy that helps you find those.
Okay, find the good ones. Helps you find the good ones.
Helps you theoretically find the ones that aren't impacted by GTIN. Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, should we jump right in?
Let's do it. Let's see what we got.
All right. Thanks.